This video is a bit of a weird one. Now, I actually filmed it about a year ago, so if you've seen that little thumbnail, that's why. I delisted it almost straight away off the channel. Basically, we did all the Gunson checks for leaning out, and we tried to be as accurate as possible with everything we could to make sure we weren't causing damage on the engine. But we wanted to take it one stage further and put on a full spectrum gas analyzer. Unfortunately, the van is now off the road. I've got no easy way of getting the van back to him or the engine to do the further checks. So I'm re-releasing the video as it was then. However, as Chris suggests, if you want to be 1000% sure you're not going to cause any problems with the engine and you're doing something like this, it really does want to go on that gas analyzer. Also, after filming, it was starting to get later in the year. It was end of November. It was getting frosty and carb icing became a little bit more of a problem. So I've also added a little bit onto the end of the video to show you how I dealt with that, and say it seemed to work quite well. So if you're going to do something daft like this, then you might find this video of use, but this should hopefully be the third and final installment of this little mini series. Enjoy. I'm just doing a third and hopefully last video in the set, I guess, of the 2 litre CU with the Beetle carburettor on it. Now, for my purposes, this engine has been fabulous. This little setup works really, really well for me. And so it was inexpensive, cost effective, and it's got me rolling relatively easily. I've not had a lot of luck with engines in this van, and to date it's running better than any of the options I've had prior to this. So I'm pretty happy. It's not completely perfect. So there is a bit of a low down hesitance, but I think that's the dizzy. I think it's down to the 009, and it's quite a common fault with them, especially if you're not putting a lot of fuel in. So yeah, so the next modification I'm going to be doing is actually putting an SVDA dizzy on there, and hopefully that'll cure that low down hesitation. But other than that, it has been pretty good. However, we have made some changes, and this is what we've done. So the rubber bungs, they didn't work. So basically I was driving down the street, it felt like it was going to stall, dropped into second, and it sucked one of the bungs in. So I had concerns when I initially started it, they were kind of concaving with the pressure, and yeah, it let go and it went in there. So we spent the Sunday afternoon while the wife was looking for a roll of duct tape to fill the hole. I was busy trying to fish out one of these from a melting hot head at the side of the road. So these did not work. So one of my major concerns was that the engine would be running lean, which you don't want a lean setup ideally. Things are going to start getting hot and you cause damage over time. So to check for that, I went to see my mate Chris, and we put it on his gas test, his gas meter, to check for the CO2 levels, and this is what we found.
Right, today we're going to use the digital version of the Gunson's gas tester. So what we're doing here, we're having a look at this carb conversion. We're just going to see where we are with jetting to see if we're not running too lean, or the vehicle seems to run pretty good in its early stages of this modification. The machine has to sample the atmosphere for about 8 minutes. We set it to 2.0, which is its base mark. Then we poke the exhaust probes down the exhaust of a warm running engine, and it will give you a very accurate reading. So I think we've had about 8 minutes, so if somebody wants to start the vehicle. .4 is lovely because it ain't lean. That's about right for an air-cooled, a little bit high. Happy with that? So basically what that's telling you is that idle jet is matched to your main jet. So if that were like 0.1, then you know you're leaning out. Right. So I was expecting that to be about 0.5 to 0.8. It's 5s, which means you're too rich, which is lovely.
So looking at the CO2 levels, it seems to be okay. It doesn't seem to be a problem, certainly not at idle. So the next thing we did was a colour tune check. Now Chris really rates these kits, and rather embarrassingly, I've had a couple in the garage for about 20 years. I've never even tried them, and I probably will do now because they seem to be quite good little kits. However, this is what we found.
Right, so you get a vehicle This is a single carb, so any plug will do. You just get the engine running, ticking over nice. You insert your colour tune, which is a glass. You are looking into the piston. It's not about the spark. You then adjust your air mixture screw. This will only set up the primary circuit.
So the air mixture screw on here,
which is here.
There's the little
Just
one
there, look.
Yeah, the little one there, and that's on a Solex Pict3
Yeah.
or yeah.
If it's white in the glass, it's lean. If it's yellow, it's rich. And you just twist till it goes blue. Bunsen blue, that's set up on the primary. This will not adjust the main throat.
And looking at the colour tune, it seems okay. so far so good. Next we did a visual check, so we basically pulled all the plugs and we checked them for the colour. Right, plug number 2 looks about the same.
I'd say slightly lean.
Slightly lean.
Not horrendously, but definitely lean, which we expected anyway.
Now there might be some debate on the comments regarding the colour of these plugs. To me they looked like they were a little bit on the lean side. Not crazy lean, not enough for me to really be worried about it. On a really lean setup you get white deposits building up on the end of the plugs, and you tend to find they're a greater whitish colour. These were more brown, edging towards the grey, so I think they're slightly lean, that's how I see it. But generally I don't think it's enough to worry about. So again, so far so good. So after seeing the plugs, we wanted to err on the side of caution, and we've actually chosen to increase the size of the main jet. So a standard main jet I believe is a 127, which is a 1.27mm drill bit, and we've effectively increased it to a 130, which is a 1.3mm drill bit. So we'll quite literally remove the jet out of there and re-drilled it with a 1.3mm drill bit. And that increases our size. Now apparently this is a modification they used to do on 1641s and stuff back in the day when they increased the size of the engine, but not especially the carb. And I'm pretty happy if it worked well for the 1641s and stuff. It's not going to cause any issues at all with the 2 litre. So that's what we've chosen to do, and this is how we did it.
It's not loose because I've been through it.
Got a hole in the bottom of your carb now. So a couple of people have asked me how it performs, and I can't really help you. So basically I've never had a 2 litre CU in a T25, so I don't have a baseline. I don't know how fast or slow these things should be normally. However, with the single carb on, it accelerates absolutely fine. It sits in the motorway absolutely fine. I can rev it as far as I want to rev it. So given the reduced carburation, it doesn't seem to be a major problem. However, I can't really compare it to a stock one because I just don't know, I'm afraid. But it's doing what I need it to do, and I'm happy with that.
Anyway, are they?
So in terms of miles per gallon, I don't think it's too bad. It basically averages out at 23 mpg. So that is based on the fact that I went to Santa Pod, I put fuel in it, and I ran out when I got there. So I knew exactly how much fuel I put in and when it ran out. Now that particular journey was a little bit quicker than normal. I was running quite late to meet people and I put the hammer down. So in this I was doing about 65 to 70 for quite a big chunk of the journey, and that's generally quicker than I drive this van. Also, you've got to remember that I'm also sat on a 1600 CT gearbox, so my fourth gear is quite short on legs. So overall, it's a fraction under 23, so it works out to 23 mpg. I think that's reasonable for a 2 litre CU. I don't really know, to be honest with you. Again, I've got no data to compare with, but I think it's what you generally expect from these engines in this particular van. However, coming back, we just chilled out. So there's a nice little sweet spot that I think most cars have, and the sweet spot for this van is about 56, 57 to low 60s. And in between that speed, that sort of speed, it's nice and quiet. It doesn't feel stressed. It just chugs along and it's happy. It's a happy cruising speed. So yeah, we just took our time on the way back, and it did run out of fuel. And then I went for a drive to a couple of places, a couple of meets, and I started fueling. So it seemed it does a little bit better when you just chill out and take a nice steady drive based on, say, my gearing and setup. Quite a few people have suggested I run into trouble with carb icing, and it's definitely getting cold. It's probably freezing to some extent, but it's never been an issue. Certainly I've not seen any performance issues or stalling issues that you associate with carb icing. So yeah, it's not something I'm too worried about. I mean, here in the UK, it's, I'm guessing, what, 12 to 18 degrees on most days in summer. I'm going into autumn now, so it's starting to get a bit colder, but as of yet, it's not been a problem. Now, on a Beetle, you have the carburettor, which goes into a thin neck and then branches out to the manifold. Whereas on mine, the carb goes straight to the branch. And I think it's probably the issue why I've not run into any carb icing issues at all. Because there is no preheater like you do get in a Beetle manifold or anything. So yeah, I've been quite lucky in that sense. Now, you can get these, or at least you could get these, which is an IMDU, or inlet manifold de-icing unit. And that basically wraps around the neck on your manifold, just underneath the carburettor before the branch, on the bug at least. And I basically plan to use that on mine. Now, like I say, it's not been an issue yet, but I suspect if I wanted to run it in winter, which would be rare, but if I do want to run it in winter, it may become an issue. So this is a backup plan. So I'll put a little video in now as what I'm planning to do with it, show you the bottom plates and stuff. Yeah, so far, carb icing, no problem. So because we had the trouble with the 2 grommet sealing, we've now drilled it for a plate. I've got a gasket paper which I'll probably put a little bit of blue Iron or something that's fuel safe as a gasket sealant as well, and then a plate to screw down to make sure it's nice and airtight. If I decide to use the IMDU, this is the old one, you can probably see the impression there, look, is the heating element within it. So basically the plan was to remove the heating element, and it's pretty much the same shape as that. So it'll be removed from the original IMDU wrap and then bonded to the bottom of the inlet manifold should I decide to use it. If you're going to paint it, you need to find something that's fuel safe. I painted it with this stuff, which is not, although I suspect most paint will probably strip off with petrol anyway, so you need to look into that before you spray it. Check out the engineering genius. Proper tribute to the tyre wrap king, that, isn't it? So basically, I haven't done what I said I was going to do in the video to you about 10 seconds ago. To me, it was about 2 months ago, because I've not needed the IMDU. I've not had a carb icing issue as such, really, until now, which is November. I haven't basically got around to putting the IMDU on, and it seemed a shame to chop it up when I might need it for a future bug project or something, say just to experiment. So for now, I just tie wrapped it on the bottom, and I think if it's going to work, it'll work as it is perfectly fine. I know it's pretty ugly and not exactly a great solution, but should it work fine, then I can always make it a neater solution in the future. I do have to take it all off to swap for the Solex carb, because I've still got the MP on here anyway, so it's all going to come apart at some point. So if it works, I'll make it pretty, and if it doesn't work, I've got a IMDU to use on other things which I haven't destroyed for no reason. So what am I going to change? Everything. Well, we do that, don't we? So yeah, basically the MP carb is going. So the solution I'm happy with. However, I want to put a decent quality Solex on there, and my friend Chris has very kindly rebuilt me one. So we're going to take the jet out of the MP, put it into the Solex, because we re-drilled that one. And basically the solution is the same, but I'm swapping the carb for a decent quality one. Other than that, it's pretty much going to remain as it is. I'd like to fit an SVDA, so a VAC Advanced Bugjam, so with the low revs, and the IMDU should I want to for winter. I'll get around to it eventually at some point, but I'm not rushing to do that because I say it's not been a problem really. So for me, this solution, it works really well. I mean, this van for me is about from getting from A to B as cheaply and easily as possible with minimum breakdowns. So it'd be nice to rock up and put my feet up and have a beer rather than to get under the van and fix something. So yeah, and this setup is so simple that if anything goes wrong, it's easy to fix anyway, and there's very little to go wrong with it. So yeah, if you're scraping for pennies and you've got similar abilities, it might be something you want to do. I'm not, however, suggesting you remove a good set of dual carbs from the factory or a good set of Dells, whatever you've got on yours, if it's working well in good condition, and swap it for what I've got. I'm not suggesting it's a better solution to anything else. It's just an alternate solution you might want to take if it suits your purpose. And say, we've proven it works. Today's video is brought to you by Ace Cafe in London. Or maybe not. I should ask. That's a good idea. No, thank you, Chris, for the hat. Dragged it all the way back from London. It's appreciated, matey. But mainly, big thank you for the loan of all your gear and experience. Just checking the engine, making sure we weren't leaning out. So without that, it would have taken a lot longer to make sure we were safe. So thank you very much for that support. I believe Chris is also setting up a new service, which he hasn't set up yet that I know of at the time of filming, but he's going to be rebuilding, rejetting, servicing and setting up Solex carbs and stuff. And I've seen a couple of engines he's had new carbs on running, and they run sweet as a nut, so I can't recommend his work highly enough. But say as soon as he sends me some information about that new service, I will add it to the description below to hopefully help him, give him a bit of help back. Cheers guys, take care, bye bye.